Okay. Let's go. Okay.
Are our dreams just random images fired from an unconscious brain during sleep? Or something much more important, like life-saving inner guidance? How dreams can be healing and early warning tools for disease, financial crisis, or success. And love is still one of the behavioral science's greatest unanswered questions. Hello, I'm your host, author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Welcome to Dreaming Healing, where dreams and cutting-edge scientific research meet on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 radio network. Dreaming Healing is every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, when you can call in and ask Kat questions about your amazing dreams. Talk on air. Call toll-free 833-220-1200. That's 833-220-1200. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Good evening, everyone. I am so glad you're here. This show is live video. So if you're only listening and you would like to watch, you can go to my website, thequeenofdreams.com, and click on it. And up in the right-hand corner of my website, you'll see Dreamvision 7. Click that. It will take you to my web page on Dreamvision 7 Radio Network. And you can click the little icon of the TV and watch the show live. Or you can also go to my Facebook page, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, author, speaker, and it's live right now on that page. So either way, you can watch if you don't want to just listen. You may have seen me on my video podcast at Kat Kanavos Show Live. And if you didn't, you can go to my Facebook page again, the Kat Kanavos Show, and watch all of the episodes, previous episodes on that page. Tonight, if you've missed any previous shows, when you are on my Kathleen, on my Dreaming Healing show on Dreamvision 7 Radio Network page, you can go into the archives there and watch all of my previous shows, and you can listen to all of those previous shows as well. So, we've been told that there are healing benefits from keeping a journal, putting your emotions into the journal, writing what's going on in your life daily in the journal. But what about writing stories, actual stories for books? Is there a healing benefit to it? Well, author and CEO of Dreamvision 7 Radio Network, Deborah Beauvais, is here with us tonight to share how writing her really deep, heartfelt stories just bringing me back to such a place of sadness that I've forgotten about. So she's here to share some amazing information with us about what happened to her by the time she'd written her third story for the third book. Writing really is healing. But before we get to Deborah, let's start the show off with my favorite protection clearing meditation. If you're driving, please do not close your eyes during this meditation. Just listen. I promise you it will work, okay? So what we're going to do is, for those of you who are new, we're going to sit comfortably, And we are going to imagine holding something very dear to us in our hand that is going to be it's going to be our gift. And what we're going to do is take in 3 deep breaths, really, really deep breaths, all the way into our lungs. And then we're going to blow them out into the purple flame of Saint Germain, where they're going to be converted into beautiful golden lights. That way, see, we're not going to be littering anywhere in the universe. So it's going to be converted into beautiful golden light and returned to the universe. And then we're going to create a protection bubble around ourselves, so that anything that is not of our highest and best cannot come into our bubble. All right? So ready? Sit comfortably. Feel yourself just kind of getting centered. Close your eyes. All right. Feel yourself relaxing. Taking a deep breath. Hold it. Now blow it across the room into that purple flame of Saint Germain. Again, deep breath in. Really, really deep. Hold it. Hold it as long as you can. Blow it out across the room. Kind of empty your lungs out. One more time. Deep breath in. Hold it. As long as you can, imagine any negativity, something someone said to you, something you said to them, something that happened to you. See it go into that breath of life and blow it out all the way across the room into the purple flame of Saint Germain. See it turn into golden light and be returned to the universe. Now imagine holding your love power gift in your hand. It can be anything that was given to you out of love, your flower, a piece of jewelry, your crystal, anything that holds power for you. Imagine swinging it all around your body, creating this beautiful, powerful bubble, almost like a bubble that you blow out of the soap suds. It's got all these beautiful colors swirling around in it. Imagine you're in the middle of it with all this golden light all around you. So anything that is not of our highest and best, brought by our spirit guides, is reflected back off this mirrored bubble to whence it came. We wish it so, and therefore it is. When you're ready and you feel really grounded, slowly open your eyes. So, how can writing a story heal us, heal our pain, heal our illness? Is that even possible? We know the benefits of journaling, but what about actually writing a story? Is there any research on it? Well, there is. There was some recent research done in what's known as the BJGP, and that is the British Journal of General Practice. And it states that writing theory, otherwise described as expressive emotional disclosure. Yeah, right. Expressive emotional disclosure, which is also known as expressive writing. Maybe some of you took expressive writing in college or some higher education course. Or it's writing about, also known as disclosure therapy, because you're disclosing something that's very emotional to you, something that could be painful. It could also be very happy, but most of this is painful, emotional disclosure. And what they're saying is that when you do this expressive writing, it can create a huge difference in your life. Hold on a second. Oh, apparently I've been touching the keyboard and it's been shaking my camera. I'm so excited about this. So anyhow, what this research has said is that if you write about experiences that are really painful for you for more than 20 minutes a day, at least 3 times, that there are these incredible benefits to you, physical, emotional, and healing benefits, that when we actually suppress negative emotions or thoughts, they lead to poorer health. So when you think you should just ignore the fact that something that happened to you really hurts you, something maybe that happened during COVID, some negative thoughts that you have about it, some experiences that you experienced during the COVID lockdown that you think you should just forget about now. Well, this research is saying that if you take 20 minutes a day for 3 days and you write 3 different stories about it, it's going to make a big difference in your health, that it's going to make changes in depression, that your depression is going to disappear. It can help you understand better your traumatic memories. Suddenly, as you're putting it down on paper and writing about it, it's going to start to make sense to you. You're going to have these aha moments. Another thing that happens is it can help you understand your emotions and how your emotions actually plays into your health, your physical health. So these emotions that you're feeling, that you're suddenly writing about, are brought to the surface. And when you're reading about them again, and you're experiencing them again and understanding them after you've had some time and some distance between them, suddenly you're going to start having some health benefits. There's going to be some healing from it. And what they're finding is these traumatic experiences suddenly turn into healing experiences. And here's the one thing that they were writing about with this research that really I found really fascinating. A lot of people who wrote for 20 minutes a day, at least 3 times over a 3-time period. In other words, you can't write 20 minutes and then wait an hour and go write 20 minutes about another story. There needed to be like a day in between, or a week in between, or months, or even longer. It needed to be for 20 minutes, but there needed to be space in between those writings. What they stated was they felt that the writing gave them more benefit than going to a psychotherapist. And that was especially true for people who were in treatment for cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, lung cancer. I was amazed because I did keep a journal during my cancer treatments. And when I went back and read them later, when I was writing some of the stories in the books, the Chaos to Clarity, Crappy to Happy, for the sacred stories of transformational change and transformational joy, what I found was going back and looking at those stories made a tremendous difference in my life and my healing and my outlook about what happened. Suddenly, I kind of shifted from victim to victor. That's what I found happened. I was looking at my writing, at the pain I had gone through, written from the standpoint of somebody in that pain, in that crisis, a victim of sorts. And now I was revisiting it as the victor. I had come through it. I didn't even realize how far I had come through it until I went back and revisited it. So tonight, we are so blessed to have Deborah Beauvais with us. And she is the CEO and the owner of Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network. And she is here to share with us how her writing in all three of the Sacred Stories books. She wrote in all three of them. And then we were having a conversation on the phone, and she disclosed to me that writing those stories of tremendous pain at the time created a healing in her she never expected to happen, and how it happened, and how she knew it happened, and some of the things that she did to help it along as it was happening. So if you'd like to know more about Deborah Beauvais, you can go to dreamvision7radio.com. And her other website is lovebyintuition.com. That's lovebyintuition.com. Welcome to the show, Deborah.
Thank you for having me.
Deborah, you know, I had to tell everybody all of this big lead up to having you on the show, because I think it's just so important. After we talked, I went and did research, and there's actually research going on about what we talked about. So when we were on the phone talking that time, you shared with me how writing your really deep grief and health stories in the Sacred Stories series began a real healing journey for you. Could you take us on that journey just a little bit?
Sure. Yes, and thank you. Really, it's an honor to be here on your show. I love you, as you know. It started about 2.5 years ago, where I actually became ill. It took a year for them to diagnose. And then it started with thyroid, then it went everywhere. But it's Lyme co-infections, and they can be nasty, nasty things. And it's usually when you have Lyme, but you're not diagnosed right away and go through the treatment, it's years later that it's running around in your body, and then it comes out to bite you really hard. So, so I knew, because I know this mind body connection, I knew that there was something that was going on, that I had not completely healed emotionally, because I believe that our emotions are trapped when there's trauma. And trauma could be something as small as your mother yelling at you, or it can be some kind of abuse, or even worse. But I think everyone comes into life to experience some kind of trauma, because that's how we grow our souls on earth, as I say. And that's why we came to really embellish our souls. And that's through experiences that aren't so much, they're really challenging, and they can be very dark and all of that, but you can come out on the other end feeling good. So once I started, well, it all started with the writing of the books, and I didn't realize myself the power that would hold in my healing. But there was all kinds of different things that I researched on to heal. And I had always worked on the different things in my lifetime. And I really believe that we have lifetimes within a life. There's so many experiences we have from the time we're children, the different jobs we have, all our marriages, all the things that come into play in a lifetime. So I knew that, and I knew that I had to go deeper, because I already did quite a bit of healing, but I had this Lyme that was really kicking my butt. And so to the point where you end up going to the ER, because you think it's unbelievable. You don't think you're going to live through the cycle that comes, and it keeps coming. So I started delving into everything, and then I got asked to write articles and to, co-write a story in the books, as you know. And then all these things started to crop up. I'm already conscious of there's a higher meaning to our lives, so I started to spend time reflecting and pondering and listening. That was huge.
To you, listening inside yourself?
Not only listening to my thoughts and my feelings, but also listening to the higher guidance, because the guidance is there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that would come out of my mouth, I'd be like, oh, where did that come from? And then I would stop, and it would remind me of something that happened, 2 decades ago. And then I'd be like, oh, this is a piece of the pie, or this is a piece to the puzzle. And if you continue to listen to the guidance, listen to yourself, then you get those pieces. And I've always said they drop into slots, and then you're going along and you're starting to feel better as well. Now there's ups and downs to it. Not everything comes to a perfect, complete puzzle. Sometimes you think that you're already, and this is through your journey through life. I mean, we are the journey, but we're going through life. And sometimes you think, oh, okay, so I really got it. I really have it. But there's more to it. There are more layers, more depth to it. And so you have to be brave enough to go in and really be in that moment. And it can be emotional. It can be something that is upsetting. However, once you're committed to finding out what the root of this illness, because remember, there's a mind-body connection. And it doesn't mean that we've created this disease. No. It's not our fault. It's not about that. What it means is that it's an opportunity. It's your body saying, hello, there's something over here that needs to be addressed. And if you ignore it, then it comes in a stronger way and says, hello, pay attention. So that's how I've experienced it. And then I've gotten into all kinds of, organic food. I'm now 90% organic. And some people will say, well, there's cross-contamination in the fields with glyphosate and all. But organic is still better than the food that's been sprayed by pesticides and everything else. And then with a lot of supplements. And so I'm almost like saying, okay, this is what I've experienced. If I can help anyone else that's going through the co-infections, I would love to. However, each body is different in the way it reacts to the co-infection. So what may work for one may not work for another, but there are some commonalities. Mm-hmm. So
let's hold that thought, though, Deborah. We got to go to a break. I know this is such a great conversation. We could just keep going, but we've got to go to a break. We will be back after the break. You are listening to Dreamvision7radio.com, and I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, aka Kat. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Ever had a strange dream? Nautilus Award winner, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases by Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos and Duke University radiologist Dr. Larry Burke, forward by Dr. Bernie Siegel, shares how people like you self-advocated in the face of adversity and won using dreams. Read life-saving dream stories validated by medical reports. Hear how dreams of dead loved ones saved lives. Use interpretations and journaling as roadmaps in your waking world for health, wealth, and love. Dreams That Can Save Your Life. Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. Buy the audio and book at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com in English and Italian worldwide and through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers.
How did life start on Earth, and why is there so much suffering? Are we living in a simulated reality like the characters in the Matrix movie? Do parallel dimensions exist alongside ours, influencing our experience? What are the mysterious dark energies that penetrate our universe? Peter Canova fills space and time to bring the twin bookends of ancient wisdom and quantum science into a single focal point, answering these and many other deep mysteries of the creation. Quantum Spirituality can be heard every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern and 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Pacific on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 radio network. See the show where past and present merge to show us our future.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 radio network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Have you met your physician within yet? The Nautilus and multi-award-winning book, Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing, is a memoir that takes you down the rabbit hole of healing dreams and interpretations, mixed with conventional medicine and treatments. Listen to the hookah-puffing caterpillar ask, "Who are you?" Dr. Bernie Siegel says Kathleen's story is powerful, honest, and eye-opening. Surviving Cancerland: Intuitive Aspects of Healing by 3-time breast cancer survivor Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Buy the book and audio at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers. Why are we here? How can we be happy? Questions asked from millennials to boomers. Crappy to Happy: Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy answers them using true stories of grit, grace, and love. James Redfield, author of The Celestine Prophecy, wrote in the foreword, "This book is a seminar about emerging truths and offers grounded solutions through the art of the comeback." Dr. Bernie Siegel, a contributing author, wrote, "Bodies die, but spirits and consciousness survive and recycle." So, grab some tissues, open your book, and prepare to cry and laugh till it heals. Crappy to Happy by Reverend Ariel Patricia and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and booksellers worldwide.
This is Dreamvision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back, everyone. We are on Dreaming Healing on Dreamvision7radio.com, and I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, but everybody calls me Kat, so I hope you will too. We have Deborah Beauvais as our guest tonight, and she's talking about writing therapy. Basically, that's what this show is all about tonight, writing therapy, and how writing for 20 minutes, just 20 minutes out of your whole day, 4 times with a period in between, can make a big difference in your health. So Deborah wrote in the book, Chaos to Clarity, and she also wrote in the book, Crappy to Happy, and the third book that's coming out shortly, Mayhem to Miracles. And she was writing about some very painful experiences in her life, dealing with the death of her husband, coming through that grief, dealing with that grief. And in the third book, she actually moves beyond that to talk about before she met the husband that was the love of her life, saving her children. So there was a healing that was going on. There was a profound healing that happened in these stories. So Deborah, there was a question that came in. And the question is, if you wrote a story based on what you wanted to happen instead of a tragedy, would it be possible to create the reality of the made-up story? What do you think?
I agree with that. I believe in that because the mind is amazing, and it really drives us to whatever we're doing. And when you're aware of your mind and your thoughts and what you're saying to yourself or saying to others or choices you make, you can actually alter that. You can repattern your thoughts to something else. So you create your reality. I mean, it's a fact. I know that there's research done on that, but I've experienced it. Others have experienced it. So it's true. You can.
I agree. What's amazing to me is sometimes it's almost like in dreams. Our subconscious does not know the difference between reality and something that we made up. So if we're talking about a story that we're writing about something that we did experience, what if we went beyond the experience and wrote the story about the healing, which is kind of what happened toward the end of your stories. You wrote about the healing that took place because all of the stories in our Sacred Stories books had to have a positive, uplifting ending. So taking what this person asked, that was sent in by Rachel, our producer, if we were to extend the end of the story and write the ending that we wanted, I'm not sure that our subconscious wouldn't say, oh yeah, let's make that our reality. And then because they want to make it the reality, it becomes the reality.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So let's carry that a little bit further. What were some of the emotional and physical symptoms that you were experiencing when you were writing these stories? And you wrote a story in every single book. So there are 3 different stories. And the first one that you wrote in Chaos to Clarity was the soul story. And you said, each one of us has been given a gift and a purpose. And you wrote that into your story. So let's carry that a little bit further. What were some of the emotional and physical symptoms that you were experiencing from your stories of grief?
Okay, well, there were a lot of things that cropped up from going back to when Rick was actually in the accident. Mm-hmm. And one of them was that I wanted to leave with him. Mm-hmm. And I thought about suicide quite a bit, but I had my 3 daughters. And then all mixed into that, I was actually in fear as a mom that I would lose the girls, that something would happen, that I had to live and experience something happening to them. And so this was the core of what I was keeping in my body. Mm-hmm. And even though I had done a lot of healing work, it was trapped in the body. And so bringing that to the surface and writing about it, all these other things came up. And it kind of like a humorous thing, because I laugh back when everything happened. And I think I know I've said this to you, I believe. I had said, everything's coming to a head. And I was like, well, where did that come from? And so I'm listening and sitting with it. And then I remembered decades ago that I told Rick's mom that if I could just have his head, I would be happy, which was foolish. However, that's what came up. And then years later, so I tied that together, and it was like an aha moment. And then I worked on being a mom and how I embraced that, and all the fear around losing the girls as well. that came up. There was jealousy there if someone paid more attention to them in the family. All of it. It was all kinds of little vignettes, as one would say, that was all coming together in one big head.
Mhm. Yeah. And so sort of like the head on a pimple. It's like you've got to get all the stuff out that's underneath it, and it hurts when you first do that. When you first, kind of squeeze it and clean it out, it's really painful. It looks really ugly and blah blah blah, but it's a necessary process in order to truly heal, and not
right.
just let it fester in there, but actually bring it
Right.
out, pull that Band-Aid off, clean it out.
Right. Yeah, and come to peace with it. You can still talk about it, but not from a victim mindset, more of a storytelling to help others.
Peace. Keep going on and know that you're not alone, but during the time that you're going through it, you feel so alone, don't you?
Yeah, you can, but I think what's important is knowing that we're never alone. We have ourselves and we have family members. And that was another thing that came up with the girls, because they're grown and they have their families. I started feeling like they didn't love me, which is silly again. But see, this is how the mind and the ego works. And what was happening there was the mind was creating this reality that didn't serve anyone else. And once I, felt all of that and really zoomed in, I was able to change my thoughts. And when I changed the way I was thinking, then everything around me changed.
Mm-hmm. And there were some stories in the book that dealt with divorce. And a lot of those stories said something similar to what you just said, where they didn't feel like they were really wanted or needed anymore. And it was just a mental state that they were in. And when you think about it, divorce to a degree is a lot like death. I think in all the research I've read about, they're very, very similar. And so a lot of the stories in the books dealt with that also. And they experienced a lot of the symptoms of that you experienced from the death of a husband, because they had the death of a marriage. So
the only thing that I would interject and share with that is that with divorce, there's always a chance that you see this person again, because they're still on earth. So if you wanted to rekindle, or you wanted to become friends, or you just wanted to have a conversation, or you wanted to talk it out and be at peace with it, you have that opportunity. With someone that's crossed over, you can still do the same thing, but you're not seeing the person face to face, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're seeing,
So
maybe
there is, from being in that devastation of your whole life changing, and this person is gone. It's different. It's different. Like when his mom passed, it was sad, and there was question there. Did I do enough? But the bottom line is, it wasn't like the devastation of him leaving. So I just want to say that, because
no, I agree.
with children,
it's much more permanent. I think the reason people wrote as they did is because they hadn't experienced the death of a spouse, and this was the worst that they had experienced so far. But I've got a question for you. When you were writing your stories in these books, did you actually experience anything in your dreams? Did you have the stories come through in your dreams? Did you have visitations in your dreams? Were dreams any part of it at all?
I know that I had dreams. To remember them at the moment, I've had dreams just last night, but not around. I dream a lot, but not around what happened or anything of that. But for years before I was writing, for years I would have dreams, and he came and visited a few times, and it was just, it's hard to put it into words to understand. It was really from another realm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and do you think that maybe the writing would kind of trigger that, open up those doors? Because, you've got to open up those doors in your mind when you're writing. I find that when I was writing about my mother in
Yeah.
some stories, that night I would actually dream about her, and it was very cathartic. It was very healing to see her in the dream. It's almost like in a dream state, you're doing what the person had written in here, creating the new reality.
Right. That's a
new reality in a dream.
Yeah, it's a good point, because I'm remembering now that I did have dreams where we were together and happy. And another thing that that's coming up in the new book from that marriage, the first marriage I had, I didn't realize that there were a number of pieces that I hadn't addressed in that experience. And so I used to have dreams of him coming after me. And
Your first husband coming
first
out.
husband, yes. And so
Yeah, and that was a divorce. So when Deborah's talking about the difference between a divorce and the death of a husband, she knows what she's talking about because she's gone through both.
Well, from my perspective, anyway, yes, from my perspective. So then, so after I wrote that for the book that's coming out in the fall, I had dreams that were, it wasn't the fear and all of that was in the dreams. It was just that I felt more at peace.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was cathartic as well. You were able to move into another realm. I know that somebody called me about a dream that they were having. They were having a recurrent dream where they were being chased by an ex, and they much like you were talking about.
Yeah,
And
that was it.
I don't know what possessed me to say this, but I said, why don't you turn around and confront them and threaten to punch them out? And she said, really? And I said, yeah, you can't get hurt in the dream. It's not real. It's a dream.
Well,
why didn't you do that? And she did. And she said he turned around and ran away, and she's never had the recurrent dream again.
oh, wow. That's a good point. See, what would happen with me is I would feel like my legs I was running, but then all of a sudden my legs wouldn't move. And then you would wake up.
Yes.
And then it would happen the next time as well.
It's so hard to run in our dreams, and that's where we have to learn to fly. But don't go away. We've got to take another break. I mean, the time is just flying, Deborah. And when we come back, we're going to ask Deborah to share her healing mushroom mixture with us. Yes, you heard me right. Healing mushroom mixture, because it was when she shared it with me, I was like, oh, we got to talk about this on the show. So you are listening and watching Dreaming Healing on Dreamvisions 7 Radio.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Kanavos, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Ever had a strange dream? Nautilus Award winner, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases by Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos and Duke University radiologist Dr. Larry Burke. Forward by Dr. Bernie Siegel, shares how people like you self-advocated in the face of adversity and won using dreams. Read life-saving dream stories validated by medical reports. Hear how dreams of dead loved ones saved lives. Use interpretations and journaling as roadmaps in your waking world for health, wealth, and love. Dreams That Can Save Your Life. Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. Buy the audio and book at KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com in English and Italian worldwide and through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other retailers.
Have you met your physician within yet? The Nautilus and multi-award-winning book, Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing, is a memoir that takes you down the rabbit hole of healing dreams and interpretations, mixed with conventional medicine and treatments. Listen to the hookah-puffing caterpillar ask, "Who are you?" Dr. Bernie Siegel says Kathleen's story is powerful, honest, and eye-opening. Surviving Cancerland, Intuitive Aspects of Healing by three-time breast cancer survivor Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Buy the book and audio at KathleenO'KeefeCanavos.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers. Darkest hours to brightest moments, transformation from despair to happiness, and chaos to clarity. Real people, real pain, real healing. Life-threatening illness, death, abusive relationships, divorce, and overcoming addiction are challenges these men and women faced head-on. See how they emerged stronger and happier. Buy the new book, Chaos to Clarity, Sacred Stories of Transformational Change by Reverend Patricia Caginello and Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos. Available on SacredStoriesPublishing.com and worldwide through Amazon and other retailers.
In a world facing annihilation, a miraculous African nun rises to become the first female pope through a web of war, murder, and betrayal. Loved by some, hated by many, she becomes the deadly target of Islamic terrorists and her own cardinals as she introduces a new vision that will either save humanity or accelerate its destruction. 4 people must race against a nuclear holocaust to learn her astonishing secret. Pope Annalisa is available at petercanova.com, Amazon, and other online booksellers and bookstores worldwide.
This is Dreamvision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to the last section of our show, Dreaming Healing on Dreamvision7.com. I'm your host, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, but my friends all call me Kat. You can learn more about me at my website, thequeenofdreams.com. And we're discussing the benefits, both physical and emotional, of writing stories in books. 20 minutes of writing, like 3 times over like a 3 or 4 month period or longer. And we're discussing this with Deborah Beauvais, who is the owner of Dreamvision7radio.com. She's the CEO. And Deborah, we were kind of talking about the benefits of the healing journey of dreaming. But when we were talking on the phone last week, you were telling me all about these fabulous mushrooms that you have started eating and or consuming. I think they're powder form. And I asked you to share them with us on the show. So tell us a little bit about that.
The mushrooms? There's all kinds of things that the main thing that I do is a herbal protocol. It's designed by Stephen Buckner, who is well known in the Lyme disease co-infection world. So there's 5 herbs and capsules and it's a protocol. I also do oregano oil, a little bit of CBD oil, vitamin C, there's magnesium, there's silver, and the vitamin C is acerola. If you're buying any other vitamin C, it's synthetic. And so with the acerola, and it's organic, it assimilates in the body the way our bodies, that's the whole thing with synthetic. It doesn't assimilate in the body properly because it's a synthetic. So if you take the real thing, the body can assimilate it quickly and then really accentuate the healing. So I had read about mushrooms, I looked at mushrooms, I researched mushrooms, and really not sure what I would do, whether I was going to order them or not. But I found a company called Real Mushrooms. It's reishi mushroom is the one that I'm taking. And I questioned if I was on the right path. And then all of a sudden, they were advertising mushrooms on TV, Spirit of Change, New England Magazine. Someone wrote an article there that a practitioner who's doing mushrooms. And so that was my validation that I'm on. So it not only builds your immune system, but it works on your brain, and it clears and it opens up the cells and everything. It opens up, anyway, it clears your mind. It clears your brain, not your mind, because your mind is the ego. But it really made a huge difference in the protocol, because what happens is you start off with the basics, then you start adding, then it doesn't work, so you let that go, and then you bring on something else. And so I'm really excited over the reishi mushrooms. And actually, this research that particular mushroom actually helps decrease tumors. And so I thought, well, this is a wonderful thing. And
so how do you spell reishi mushrooms? How do you spell that?
Reishi.
Okay.
And the company is Real Mushrooms, and they put it into a powder, and then you mix it. Tastes awful, but who cares?
That's what I remember you told me that.
If it works, then it's great.
So do you put it in warm water? Do you put it in something warm?
You can put it in smoothies. You can do all the things that you're taking. You can put in smoothies if you want, but I usually spread it out across the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I also tried, just to point this out for anyone listening that may have the same issue, because it attacks your brain, it attacks your heart, and so it does a number on that. And berber and panela, it's a tincture, they're herbs, and that will stop a Lyme co-infection, herx, as they call it. It stops it in its track, and it works excellent. However, if you're sensitive like myself, I have found that it actually ignited the celiac, because it has an alcohol base, and you can, they say, to put it in warm water for a half hour and it dissipates the alcohol. However, if you're taking it every day, it did a number on the celiac, so I had to stop that and start to reheal my intestines.
Wow. Okay.
It's a journey.
It is. And this, and you're talking mostly about dealing with the Lyme disease, right? For the mushrooms? Or
yeah. Well, people that have breast cancer or tumors, they take it. And some people will do reishi and a couple other mushrooms that are very good. But I started with the reishi, and I'm happy with it. And I'm, in the last couple of months, I've made a big turnaround. So I'm happy.
Wow. So imagine if you use the mushrooms as physical therapy and the writing as emotional therapy, in no time flat, you're just going to be so happy and healthy. But
Yes. And the other thing is you have to really watch your mind, because when you're not feeling good to the point where you're in bed or whatever, you're in that sick zone. So you're really having a hard time thinking of anything but how you feel and what's going on, especially if you don't know what it is. So
yeah,
you
and when you're
really
not
have to,
feeling good, you're depressed. It's depressing.
yeah. So you have to keep your hope up, and you
Mhm,
have to be, you have to connect with God source, all
mhm.
of that, all the things that we teach others, we have to apply it to ourselves, especially being a practitioner. The
Right.
other thing, if I may
Mhm.
share, and it is about the book that's coming out, in that, this goes back for when I was 20 years old. And in order to leave that husband and have the inner strength, now remember, I was only 20. And so I decided that I would hold hate towards him to get the inner power to actually leave when my child was born. And coming to write the book full circle. Now I did volunteer work, I did all the battered women and children work back in the day. But with writing the book, I realized that I may still have hate hiding in my body, that emotional
Mhm,
piece. And so
mhm,
I had to work on that to release that. And that's when tied to the dream when I felt peaceful.
mhm.
Because, and that for anyone listening, any kind of emotion like hate, it is not good for your mind or your body. It is not
Oh,
good for your life, nothing. So you need to make the choice to do the inner work, find that inner love, and then let the hate go.
I
And
agree.
hate and fear is all wrapped together anyway. It's the opposite of love. So we replace it. You replace all those dark emotions with love. And then you start getting a little flicker of light inside. And that's what you hold on to and then expand it.
Wow. Well, Deborah, I want to really thank you for being on the show today. Believe it or not, we're down to our last couple of minutes. I can't believe how quickly this show went. There was a dream question that came in. If we can address that in like 30 seconds, it'll be perfect. The dream was this person was at work in a work area with some people that acted like they knew them, yet they didn't know the people that were there. And the dreamer saw their reflection on the windows, yet it didn't look or sound like the person they were acting to be. It was almost as if it was in a different reality and a different body, very foreign to them, yet familiar. What do you think of that? Do you want to take a quick jab at that? We've got like
Wow.
1 minute, so we got to do it fast.
Yeah. I would say it's themselves in another part of their lives, and
Oh,
they're revisiting that area, which would be an opportunity to really go within and reconnect with that dream
mhm,
and ponder about it. And there
mhm.
may be a message that surfaces that can help them today. What would you say, Kat? You're an excellent dream interpreter.
Well, thank you, Deborah. I thought that was a great interpretation, and I'm just going to kind of build on it a little because it was so good. That person, that dreamer may have actually been seeing themselves in a previous lifetime. And we do
Okay.
visit our previous lifetimes in our dreams. And because many of us have been out of work, we kind of miss that camaraderie with our
Yeah.
workers. Maybe she was remembering a previous lifetime when she had a lot of fun at work and loved being at work and loved being with the people at work, saw her reflection in the mirror and said, I know her or him, but I don't know her or him. It may
Yeah.
have been a dream about a previous lifetime. I know that I froze a couple of times during the show tonight. I'm so sorry. Our internet was a little off. We've got a lot of people down here for summer vacation in Florida, believe it or not, with their kids. But thank you so much, audience, for making Dreaming Healing such a great success. And if you want to share your dreams with us, just email them in to me at catcan@comcast.net or type them in on the YouTube, and Rachel, our producer, will send them to me. So until next time, remember, everybody dreams, but some dreams save lives. Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you, Kat.
You're so welcome.
Thank you for joining us this evening. And a big thanks to our producer. Tune in next time to Dreaming Healing for more cutting-edge research, live dream interpretations, and stories with radio host and award-winning author Kat O'Keefe Kanavos. Listen every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time with call-in live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dreamvisions 7 Radio Network. Remember, everyone dreams, but some dreams save lives. Live your dreams. Find more about Kat at KathleenO'KeefeKanavos.com. That's Kathleen with a K. OKEEFEKANAVOS. Or The Queen of Dreams on Google search.
This is Dreamvision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax,